that when this ends, when the OBU offering or the alignment between OBU and Oxford Brookes, when it ends, what is the hope for people that cannot take up this window? Okay, so the school has been on for a while. The alignment is ending not because ACCA's qualification is deemed inferior to any qualification. No, it's just because the school thinks that at this time, anybody that wants to get a degree from them should, of course, go with their own program rather than the alliance that they had with ACCA before. And this is a good opportunity for everyone who is looking to earn a BSc in applied accounting through the ACCA route to quickly take advantage of the opportunity. So technically, we have 3 more submissions. Submissions are twice a year. So we have the one in May, we have the one in November, and then the one that is going to be in May 2026 when the offerings end. So we have just 3 more opportunities to be a part of this. And so you can effectively plan to ensure that, most especially if you're entirely new to ACCA journey, I believe that you can also still work your way around. So once you know that you have, if you got exemptions from your foundational papers, and then you're just writing your applied skilled papers, you can write your applied skilled papers and still do this as well. So just ensure that you do well such that you pass, right? If you pass, your results will also be released, because it's always an average of the things you've done in your applied skilled papers, that helps you to get a BSc. All you just need to do now is quickly indicate interest. Aside fact that you want to indicate interest as well, you want to ensure that you're also qualified, because for you to also get applied a BSc in applied accounting, you should have also done your ethics model. So there are deadlines for doing all these things, and we'll be sharing during the presentation today. So there's the deadline for your ethics model. So all these things, I remember that there's been times that we started the class and it was people were near submission, and people would then discover that they did not even do their ethics model. And the deadline for doing your ethics model, if you are doing May, is March 22nd. March 22nd, 2025, I believe, is the deadline for doing the ethics model. So if you have not done the ethics model and you are preparing to submit, then it becomes a bit difficult. It's March 21st, I meant to say. So March 21st is the deadline for if you are doing the May submission. So if you miss that deadline, then it means you would not be able to submit your RAP project in May with the May deadline. So you have to always know. So there are some dates that are very important to you. So since I'm on this call, let me just give you the dates. So for May, that's if you're doing May, your period submission of May, the deadlines for doing your ethics module is March 21st, 2025. The earliest receipt of your RAP, again, when you're done, the earliest receipt is May 1st. And the latest time, so they give you a 5 days window for you to attempt to submit, and that's May 6th. After May 6th, you no longer have the opportunity to submit your project, and your results will latest be released September 17th. Again, OBU is a journey you start, and you know everything from the beginning. You know what it will cost you. You know the day you need to do different things, and if you miss the milestones, it becomes a bit difficult to get around. Then anything, I always tell people that ACCA and Oxford Brookes offering has made a lot of things easy. Anything that you want to do, where you are in doubt, there is this dedicated email address. I'm sending it to the group right away. If you're looking for a mentor, you can send, but you're at Ivy League now. I believe that you already have a place where we can support you. But there is always a window where you can make inquiries. I'll also drop the emails where you can make inquiries in the chat box. So everything you need to know is already known. Okay, I wanted to also share a link that you can, as I'm talking, I'll be dropping different links that I believe that will help you in completing your RAP. So moving on to the question on, there was a question on what level of support are you going to get from the Ivy League in supporting or in, towards your project. Again, I like to always say that in OBU, mentors are guides. We don't write projects for people. There is a mentor-mentee code that OBU has also shared. So we only provide guides to you. We don't write the projects for you. So to the extent of guiding you right in everything you need to do, you will get from us. I would read our profiles so that it's easier for you to understand the role that we have to play and how would I call it now? How professional the people you are working with is. So we understand what it entails from the wrap. Again, when I go through the presentation today, it will be easier for you to know what is expected for you to do. Mentors across the world, they charge in dollars. They charge as high as $500 and all to do mentoring work. In OBU, I like to say that in Oxford Brookes OBU, it looks like it's service to humanity that we're doing. We believe that we can be a part of your success, and that's why we're doing what we're doing. So you must always remember that the OBU project mentor that will be assigned to you if you join us is not supposed to write your project for you, supposed to guide you through the page and guide you through everything you need to do. So you need to know there are 3 statutory meetings that OBU has recommended with your mentor. So for each of the statutory meetings, there are milestones, there are things that needs to be done. So you need to, as you are going through, and as we also speak today, I will tell you, you plan for your first meeting. What am I going to be asking this mentor? The mentor is not supposed to choose a topic for you. You are supposed to choose topics from the approved topic of ACCA already. So you need to, there's also a guidance note. I'll also try and send the guidance notes to the group as to, how the relationship between you and your mentor should be. So it's quite an easy and seamless process. I'm sure that as you continue with us, you would see what we can do. So like I said, there are 3 statutory meetings that OBU has said that we must do. But for us in Ivy League, we go beyond that. We create a WhatsApp group. We create a community for everyone that is interested in getting this degree. So you have access to your colleagues, so to say, and you also have access to the mentors, the environment of the mentors. So we always encourage that group is very active. You have one-on-one dealings with your mentors, of course, virtual communications. You're able to submit your project for review and your mentor is able to give you feedback. Again, that's not part of the roles and responsibility that has been meted out for a mentor as required in the OBU guide. But what we do is, because we're subject matter experts, we're people that have lectured, some of us have even done the OBU project ourselves. So we're able to guide you through the process. We do not write the project for you, but we'll provide necessary guidance that will help you to succeed. You get a chapter by chapter feedback. So there are 3 chapters. You get it. So don't let's jump the gun on the things we have to do today, but I thought it was important to answer these questions. So all the chapters, you get your feedback. You also have the opportunity of having an independent reviewer evaluating what you have done, just to ensure that you're successful. And we've had a lot of successes, since we started this a long time ago. I think it's almost 10 years now, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, have we had, yes, the pass rate has been more than the failure rate, but yes, we've had people that despite the guidance, also they still didn't pay attention and they still didn't pass. So I thought that was important to note. I think that said, we'll move into Tohib. It looks like you still have Tohib and Sadiq. Is it the former hands you have raised? So we can go into the meat of today. Okay, Tohib. All right. So
No,
I think I should just, okay, go ahead. Go ahead,
I'm okay.
please. Yeah, okay.
Let's continue. Let's just continue, man.
Okay. All right. That's fine. So moving on to the presentation for today, what we do first is to tell you about um, the profile of our faculty members. So I believe that that would help to even put what we do exactly in Ivy League in respect to the OBU projects and how we do it. Then we would also tell you the profile of the people, the pedigree of the people that are in this faculty. So we have a rich faculty of seasoned mentors, people who are professionals in their relevant fields and who are, you know, happy and willing to support you through your OBU journey. So rich faculty, we do an OBU induction day. Again, we've looked at quite a number of schools across Nigeria or our competitors, so to say. And it looks like it's just us that does this OBU induction day because we believe that it is very pivotal that we carry you along and that you know what the expectations are and what you need to do to achieve success. So we pride ourselves in saying that we are a people that is thoughtful, and that's why we do this day so we can, clear the hair and prefer solutions to you. We have dedicated mentors again. So what some other schools do is that rather than having dedicated mentors, they have a pool. And so you just go through a pool, submit your projects and all. But for us, we have people dedicated to looking at what you have done and challenging your thought. So yes, in Ivy League, we have dedicated mentor. And I already said that what the school expects that we do is that we have 3 statutory meetings with you all through this journey. But what we do in Ivy League is to ensure that there's an active engagement, the dedicated WhatsApp group, the communication between you and your mentor. It's a very active engagement. And like I said, we've achieved good success. We do chapter by chapter feedback. We give you feedback as you're going on every of your step. We can already tell from the beginning. And then what we always also encourage mentees to do is to ensure that the feedback that is given to you, you take it. So we've had mentees in the past that will review their project and their different chapters and give them feedback and say, okay, why not look at this? Okay, is there a reason why you're thinking about it this way and all? And they choose to say, okay, no problem. Chibi is my project. I don't think that your comments are okay. I just want to do it the way I want to do it. We also don't force people. Again, it's your project, it's your money. So if you don't take our feedback, of course, you know that whatever comes out from your project is obviously your ultimate responsibility. We have a day, just like we're doing the OBU induction day today, we have a day that is dedicated to plagiarism check. What we want to do is OBU presentation day. So yes, OBU at the third meeting recommends that there should be a presentation to your mentor, a summary of how everything you learned during the whole BU process, during the process of writing your research, what you learned, how you're also going to be using it to predict the things that will happen in the future. So OBU recommends that we do that at the third meeting. But for us, despite the fact that we'll have done third meeting, we dedicate a day for presentation. Here, all mentees that have been assigned to different mentors come together and we review the work that has been done. Right? So you do your presentations, you hear a lot on this day, a lot of things. We always have a lot of revelation. If I could target that, we have a lot of people will then discover that they even had colleagues that were writing the same rap as they are, and they chose the same comparator complaint. So at that day, we're able to tell whether some people have, sometimes when you're doing a research, it's not the work of the mentors to go and validate whether what you're saying about that company is correct or not. It is your work to ensure that whatever you're saying about the company is correct. So when we then have 2 people researching about the same company, coming to talk about the company, and they are saying 2 different things. So on that day, we're able to tell people that have done their work well and also able to help people that may have done their work wrongly. So I always personally look forward to that day because it's a day where a lot of things happen that day, and then we help people get better at their hobby project. So it's a day to look forward to, and it's a dedication that Ivy League Girlfriend is given to help you ensure that your project is successful. We also have independent review. What we do with that is you'll have gone through a 2 to 3 months intense session with your mentor. But however, there is one person who didn't go through that process with you, who is technically reviewing your work and the work of your mentor. So we're looking at an independent observer that is now giving you and your mentor expressing an opinion on what you and your mentor have done, or whether yes is a good job, or whether oh you need to do some extra review. So because of all these things that we do, we believe that we had extra value. We bring, like I said, we've had the success rate in our OBU offering has been phenomenal. We've had quite a number of people that have made first class. It's just, and then with the OBU, you're able to tell whether from the beginning you're able to make first class, whether you're able to make second class upper, or they call it second upper or second lower. You are able to tell from the beginning, what you are up for. And there's been times where we had, before we started like this, people already knew. I knew people that they would say that, okay, from the average score, they can already tell that they wouldn't make a first class, neither would they make a second upper or lower, that they will make third class. Some of them from the beginning already know, and they still choose to continue. So you're able to quickly count your costs, and then you're able to tell how your journey is going to end. So for me, I think it's a school that just helps you to know where you're going from the beginning of it, and you see it as we proceed into this presentation. So who are the people in the faculty? My humble self, my name is Adetutu Oludare. My colleagues, I'm going to be calling their names now: Oladimeji Olajito, Omolola Fashesi, Jonathan Kiolumba, Olakito Abib, and Muhyiddin Akpena. These are the 6 people that we have in the OBU faculty, and they will be guiding you through this OBU project. So let's quickly read their profile. So I won't stress you on reading my own profile, but just know that I'm also a finance expert. So let me read Lola's profile. Lola is a fellow of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, and an associate member of the Association of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. She holds an MBA from the Alliance Manchester Business School, University of Manchester, United Kingdom. She has experience in finance, in risk management, and in sustainability. She holds a credential. She's a credential holder from Sustainability Accounting Standard. So what we do, we try to, as much as possible, just put people in line with their mentors' core competence. So when you have a project that has to do with sustainability, risk finance, you're more likely going to be assigned to Omolola because of our experience. Again, I should even say Omolola resides in Canada, and she has CPA. So she has a very wild experience, and a lot of people that have been assigned to her, have also testified about our ability to go all out to ensure that our mentees are successful. I've worked personally with Omolola, and I can testify to our professional work ethics. She sits on the board of different companies. Again, don't let me say too much before everybody will say that they would like to work with Omolola alone. But yes, that's how rich our faculty is. So moving on to the next 2 sets of mentees that we have, Olajimidi Olajikito. I'll start with him. He's a fellow of Association of Chartered. Please, if you're not talking, can you go on mute? Aramide. Just mute them. Please just ensure that your mic is not unmuted unnecessarily, so we don't interrupt the session. Okay, so Abib has experience in governance, in risk, in compliance, in finance, and in strategy across multiple industry. Holds an MBA with specialization in strategic planning from the prestigious Edinburgh Business School in Scotland. So again, we have mentees that are concerned, oh, okay, what am I going to do? I'm not in Nigeria, but I need a mentor. And because of the timing, don't worry, we have mentors that are in diaspora. Dimeji also is in Canada. And one peculiar thing about Dimeji is passion and is knowledge with fast-moving consumer goods and with specialized sectors. Is able to bring that experience across different fields. And these are people that you can also check out yourself to know their pedigree. The passion with which he dedicates himself to his mentors, to his mentees, I meant to say, is very phenomenal. So yes, if you are doing projects around governance, risk, and compliance, be sure that Oladimiji is a likely person for you. Then we'll move to Olakito Habib. He's also an associate member, ACCA, with an MBA with specialization in strategy and digital transformation, a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Management Consultants. Habib has a rare blend on the table because he's a certified consultant and an executive coach. So when we're looking at, along the line of our project life, when we have to bring in emotional intelligence, when we have to manage expectations and all, we are always able to leverage on his skills. Also, he's passionate about strategy, business analysis, operations, finance, psychology, and he has done this across multiple industries as well. I'm sure that Jonathan is a name that a lot of us know, and is also is a guest faculty member in the OBU faculty. Jonathan is a well-known ACCA personnel across relevant he's worked across relevant industry. He's almost the face of ACCA, if I would say that. He has professional vast experience. And is currently is the chief learning officer and also one of the top echelons in the OVU offering. In Ivy League itself. Muhyiddin Akpeno is also a fellow, BSc holder, has BSc and MSc from University of Lagos, a seasoned banker with over 20 years experience. Again, if you're doing project that has to do with analysis of anything in the banking sector, you'll be sure to have Muhyiddin as your supervisor. Strategy performance related is passionate. Muhyiddin heads the financial management offering, a faculty that I'm also a part of for core lecturing, and his passion is second to none, and his success story is very, very amazing. So those are the people that we have on the faculty, and you can be sure to have any of the 6 people being your direct mentor, with one of them, me in particular, being the individual and the independent valuer or the independent reviewer of your project. So we would move to the second presentation, which is the presentation, the meet for today. And I think we'll just pause and take your questions at the later end of the presentation, should you still have one. Okay, let me go to slideshow. Okay, you should see my screen on slideshow now. Sunday, do you want us to take your question now or take it later?
It depends
Sunday.
on you.
Okay, go ahead. Since it's just you, whose hand is raised.
Yeah, I hope I'm jumping the gun. I wanted to find out if one has completed the ethics and module session and it is now time to write the project. Is the mentor going to help in assisting in taking the topic that is best for someone? One. Then number 2, in terms of the companies to be assessed, Nigerian companies, maybe those in NSE, that is Nigerian Stock Exchange, are they part of those that we can pick for the project, or must they be international?
Okay. Thank you. Your questions are very valid. And yeah, you're not jumping the gun, but yes, we would get to them. First is, it is your responsibility to choose your topic. Mentors do not choose topics for mentees, because if you run into trouble along the line of writing your project and is a mentor that chose it for you, you can imagine that that mentor will be in trouble. So we don't choose topics for people. What we do is to ensure that you choose your topic yourself. You will read through. There is something called information guide, and we'll get to it. It's your work to sit down, read through the information guide, check the things that you are passionate about, then write your project in line with that. We do not choose topics for people. There are topics, and you will see it as we go on in this presentation today, the myriads of topics that you can pick from. But we do not choose topics for people. To your second question, yes, Nigerian companies are eligible. It's not only foreign companies that you can use. Yes, if you also choose to use foreign companies, no one is going to query you or question you on it. So Nigerian companies listed on the foreign stock on the Nigerian Stock Exchange is the companies are eligible. So those are things that I would like to use to answer you tentatively. When we get into the presentation and we're done, I'm sure some of the other questions that you have will be clear. So I think we should just move on. Otherwise, we'll keep taking questions. So please, just keep your question until we get to the question and answer time. Be sure that we will take them. Thank you. Again, the OBU information pack is called Research and Analysis Project Information Pack. Let me see if I can also drop it in the chat. So, because it looks like a lot of us are getting very interested. So yes, you're supposed to download this. This is like is a chronicle and a repository of everything that you need to do in OBU. I personally don't even start to mentor anyone until I ask a few questions on the topics and the things that I know is here, and I can sense that the person has already taken time to read them. There are 15 topics to choose from, and I always encourage people, choose topics based off your experience, your knowledge base, the topic you were the most interested in when you, when you did your exams, which of the topics was of more, which of the subjects in ACCA.
Please, are you showing us anything on your screen? Because I can't see anything, and I've not been seeing all the messages you said you dropped. Just to bring your attention, like the links, I've not been seeing any links, and I can only see Oxford Brooks OBU project mentoring as your screen.
I've only dropped two things. Second one I just dropped now. On my screen should be OBU offering project mentoring. Can others help me confirm they can see it?
Yeah, that's what we can see. That's what we can
Yes,
see. Thanks.
that's fine. I'm answering the questions before I go into the presentation, so it's fine. I hope you saw the faculty that I presented earlier.
Yes, I saw that, but I didn't see the links you said you shared.
I've only shared two links, one link
I've
and
not
one
seen
email.
either of the links. I didn't see the link or the mail. I've not seen it.
Please, can anyone see the link I just dropped now? The URL I dropped for information pack. I dropped it at 9:39.
No, we can't
No,
see
it's
the link.
It looks
some
like
of us
the
sign
chat
in.
is disabled or something, because what I see here is we're having trouble loading your messages. Try refreshing. I don't know whether that's
Okay, okay, no problem. If you can't see it, then it means that if you eventually decide to be a part of the school, we'll share the links in our group. Again, I can't tamper with the settings that you already have for today. But it's fine. Let's go into the presentation. I'll take your questions after, so we don't stay on questions alone today. So I go into just confirm that you can now see my screen. I'm on the content slide.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yes, can see your screen.
Beautiful. So I'll run from the introduction down to what your submissions fees are and what to do on referencing. So introduction and basic information, what you need to know. Osford Brooks Applied Accounting is a unique collaboration between OBU and ACCA. Again, that collaboration is ending by May 2026. So you need to take advantage of this on time. Who is eligible to write an OBU project? OBU means Oxford Brookes University. So you hear me talk about OBU, hear me talk about ACCA, you can already see what they mean. Oxford Brookes University, Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, that's ACCA. Who is eligible? You must have passed the ACCA Applied Skilled Examination, Financial Reporting, Audit and Assurance, Financial Management. You're eligible if you have passed or gained exemptions from 6 papers at the knowledge level and the skills level. You're eligible if you have completed your ACCA ethics and professional module or the previous professional ethics module. And you're eligible if you are within the 10 years window. So some people may have registered maybe in 2000 and may have registered in 2000 and maybe 2005. No, 2015. Yeah, 15 because we're in 2025. If your 10-year window, the earlier of the time you registered and the time you were granted your first exemption has passed 10 years, I always encourage, write an email to OBU. They will tell you if you are still eligible or otherwise. And this is the email, students@accaglobal.com. On that one day, typically they will have responded to your inquiry. So where you are unsure as to whether you qualify or whether so some people too, when they get to choosing a topic, they discover that the companies that they want to use, one does IFRS reporting, the other does not, or one's accounting period is 3 months earlier than the other, and they are still head-bent on using that company. I tell them, go ahead, send an email to students@accaglobal.com, and they will clarify to you whether you can use it. Again, please don't go ahead with any decision that is not clearly written without confirming from them, because these are the people that will mark your paper or your project. If you have given them heads up, meaning that you have made inquiries and they have given you permission to go ahead, it's easier than when you take laws into your hands and then at the end of the day, they then say you did not pass the project just because you did not follow requirements. I've seen OBU project that the examiner's comments will be that this project clearly did not understand or read through information pack. So you don't want to be tagged the person that does not or that did not take time to understand the requirements of the OBU pack. So the requirements of the OBU pack is very important. You need to read through them, understand nitty-gritty, and then you can then take please, if you are not talking, you can kindly go on mute so that we don't have the class stopped. So you hear me talk about RAP as we move on. And RAP means Research and Analysis Project. Research and Analysis Project. Research and Analysis Project. So as we go on, I'll be saying RAP rather than calling it Research and Analysis Project. What does it entail? It has 2 parts. So your Research and Analysis Project is divided into 2 parts. First is called the Research Report. Again, as we move on, you might hear me say HARAR, your research report, and your skills and learning statement. So let's go again. You are submitting a research and analysis project that has 2 parts. The research analysis project we call RAP. It has 2 parts. First is RR. Your RR is your research report. It is supposed to be 7,500 words. And then your skills and learning statement, which is supposed to be 2,000 words. Then plus a PowerPoint presentation. That would be a summary. Again, when I was making the earlier presentation, I said that we always have a day dedicated to OBU presentation. So on that day, you are presenting a summary of everything in your project in not in not more than 20 slides. And this is how OBU has said that their journey is 9 applied skills and applied skills paper with some exemptions allowed. You will have done your ethics model plus your research and analysis projects. That research and analysis project has 2 things inside, your research report and your skills and learning statement. Once you have these things together, you are qualified to have BSc honors in applied accounting. Then, of course, you can always check for additional information on the www.brooks.accauk/ACCA for additional information. This part of the slide is very important, and I'd like you to pay attention. Please don't interrupt this class. We'll take our questions after so that we can cover everything that we have to cover. This is how your class of degree is done. Your applied skills, it does an average of them, and then you have an ACCA score. So you have an ACCA average score, like I said, it is either you make a first class, upper second, lower second, or a third class. And I already told you from the beginning that you can already tell where you want to be from the start of the project. So if you got exemptions, then we'll be taking the 3 papers that you have in your applied skill, we'll average them. If you didn't, we'll take it from all your applied skill papers, would average them. And then we have a score. So that score then determines what your class of degree will be, plus the combination of what your project will be graded at. So your project is either graded at A, B, or C, or a fail. Now you can already see that on this table, a fail means that you weren't successful. But if you have a B, an A, a B, or a C, it means you were successful and therefore you are graded. So for people whose average score is from 86 or more, meaning that you've had your average score is 80, from 86 upward up until 100, right? If your average score is 80 up until 100, if you have an A in this project, you make a first class. If you have a B in this project, you make a first class. Even if you have a C in this project, you will still make a first class. Again, let me put a caveat. I've had mentees that have joined the OBU offering and they had 68 above. But because they already had it in mind that whether it is 60, whether it's an A, a B, or a C, they were still going to have a first class. I think sometimes they take it for granted, or some people take it for granted. And you can't afford to take things for granted because you can still fail. So you can have 68 above and you then have F, right? If you failed the project, then you are no longer going to have a first class in that round. You have to write it again. So you don't want to take chances. If you're already a bright student, if your scores in ACCA already gives you that leverage of being a bright student, don't unbrighten the light on you if there's anything like that. Because again, you are restricted to a C if you're submitting and you still make it first class. However, you will be paying twice. Maybe when we get to the fees and commission and the fees part, it will be easier for you to understand that you can't afford to pay this much in pounds and then waste it. So again, you put it in your mind that it is your money that you are spending for this thing, and therefore you need to give it all it takes to be successful. So let me move on. We have another category of people who can also make first class. If your average is 67 upward, if your average is 67, not upward now, once you are not 68, that means if you have a C, you can't make a first class, right? If your average is 67, then you must plan and prepare to make an A or a B in this project for you to make first class. That's for people that are interested in making first class. Again, we all have different desires in life, and you can choose where you like to play. If you are 66, it is only an A that can make you to have first class. 60, 65 is where we always have quite a number of people that come to approach the ACCA bench or want to write a research project to get applied accounting BSc. So whatever you do, if your average is between 60 to 65, you can only have an upper second. Whether it's an A, you have a B or a C. Then if you are 59, we also always have a lot of people in this range. An A and a B can only give you an upper second. A C takes you to lower second. Again, so people start from the beginning and say, C, Tutu, it's only an A can help me in this project. So if you are 58, they will say, Tutu, only A can help me to make an upper second. So I always tell them it is doable. Just pay attention, do everything you need to do to ensure that you are able to succeed. So there's anything you want to do is doable. So there's another category of people. Again, we always have quite a number of people between 54 and 57. Again, while you were preparing for your ACCA, I already told you that it's also possible that you're on this call and you have not even done these papers. So you're having the information on time. So you want to do a crash program. You want to ensure that you are doing the papers now and you are passing them excellently, such that you are combining with your BSc and then you can do it. Remember, you have just 3 chances. So you need to make the best of it. So you need to plan your papers, sit with admin, sit with any of the lecturers, let them guide you as to how you can ensure that you can take advantage of this window. If it's going to be too much pressure, again, you know the kind of things you do right now and the things that you have exposure to. I know that it's not even unlikely that on this call, we have people that are still in the university. So you even have more opportunity to take advantage. Let me tell a story of a guy that I know. He was an undergrad when he came to OBU to write, when he came to the Ivy League to do his project. I think at that time he was less than 19. I was his mentor. He was in, I think, 300 level law, if I'm not mistaken. And then he wanted to be a father. In fact, the day he came to school, we were still doing a lot of fiscal classes then. So he came and he joined. The father was around for an OBU day like this. And then we had a conversation. He was there. Before he was 19, he had already passed his OBU. So he had BSc before he finished his BSc, his proper BSc that I think he was doing it in OAU then, if I'm not mistaken. He had BSc before then. And then he started pursuing the MSc as well. You know that ACCA also gives you, because he then qualified. It just moved so fast. The guy moved very swiftly. He qualified, and then he started his I think he started his ACCA journey shortly after he finished secondary school. So he started his MSc. Before he finished school, he already had MSc before he finished his law graduate. So he then had his MSc, had his BSc in applied accounting, and then graduated in law. You can imagine the leverage he gave himself. Everything he did before he was 20, he was just running very sweetly, and he's doing well today. So you want to also, if you're an undergraduate on the call and you're just listening, it's an opportunity. Rather than, don't waste time waits for no one. If this is the path you have chosen to take, then run it with it very sweetly. Again, there is another category of people whose average is just from 50 to 52, right? If you are doing 50 to 52, it really doesn't even matter if you have an A, a B, or a C in this project. You are still going to finish with a 3rd class. When I say, again, it's a bit sensitive for people in this category, and I always encourage them. If you just count the costs, if you don't mind to spend £520 to pay OBU fees, to do all this, to then get a 3rd class, if you don't mind, it's fine. So some people is just, some people that are a bit older, what they are looking for is just the BSc, right? And it really doesn't matter what class of degree it is that they have. And they'll tell you, to have had people that have told me to, don't worry, I'm fine. I know, I understand, I've counted because again, we like to tell people such that you don't finish and get a 3rd class and then you're wondering, but I had an A. It really doesn't matter whether you have an A. If your average is between 50 to 52, it will still be a 3rd class. So you want to count your costs. Again, if you had 53 is better. But once it's 50 to 52, whatever your efforts are, they still put you, again, we would applaud you for doing well in your projects, for having an A in that project, but your overall will still be a third class. So I always encourage people, please count your costs. Don't get angry when your result is out, that they give me. You know how we always say that they gave me, they didn't give you. You already saw and you knew what it was going to cost you from the beginning, and yet you chose to go with it. So I dwelled on this slide a bit because I know that it is always very important for everyone. Again, we said that the RAP is divided into two. You can pass your RR, which is your research project. If you fail your SLS, your project is still going to be graded fail. So you want to pay attention to everything. This is graded either just pass or fail, but you must pass it, right? It is very, very important that you take time to pass it. So you want to ensure that you pass it once and for all. And for me, skills and learning statement is a summary of everything you've learned written. We'll go into the details shortly. And have I seen people that have failed skills and learning statements before? Yes. And for me, it's always painful. Because why would you fail skills and learning statements? They asked you 3 questions, and it's for you to document the summary of what you've done with your mentor and on the project. But some people, I've seen people copy another person's work before. They say it's time to write your skills and learning statements, which is a summary of the things you have learned. They are gathered questions. And people, you then copy another person's own, like how? Your mentor would not even be able to tell whether you copied someone else's own, because anything that reads, in fact, if you go online and type it on ChatGPT and you give me that thing, in fact, it will read very nice to me. I don't have plagiarism in my brain, checker in my brain to be able to tell you that. Maybe if the words are too verbose, I might be able to tell, right? But there is an institution that has a check engine. They would put your project in it, and if it is ChatGPT, would highlight it, copied from ChatGPT. So you want to be very careful. People fail the SLS project, and really you don't have a reason to fail your SLS, because it's a documentation of what you have done personally. So you don't have to fail it. Let's move on. Let's go into the 3 parts. So this is the structure. We're going to the structure of what your project entails. And then please don't be afraid. It's not hard. People have done this and they've done excellently well. But when we do sessions like this, it's very important. We tell you the extremely positive things. We tell you things that are not so good, so that you can, from the beginning, structure your thinking and, plan accordingly. So your research project is divided into 3 parts. Remember, I said it has to be 7,500 words. So if it's going to be 7,500 words, there are 3 parts of them. The first is your objective and your overall research approach. Again, is just like the research that you know that you did in your undergrad, or that you would do if you are not done with your undergraduate studies already. So that chapter 1, what is it talking about? It's just an overview. What are your objectives? Why are you writing this project? This topic that you have chosen, why did you choose it? So there are questions like that. The reason why you chose the topic, the reason why you chose the company, all those small questions, they are already in your information pack, and you're supposed to answer them in 1,000 words. You want to tell your examiner that you understand what you're doing. I always tell people that your chapter 1 is the second most important, if not the most important part of your RAP. The reason why I put second is because, of course, your chapter 3 adds a lot of things. It's a summary of what you've done. But your chapter 1 is the one that sets the pace. So if I personally were to mark a project, my chapter 1 is going to determine whether I would be interested to invest my energy, my skills in reviewing that project very well, or I will just review it as one of those things. So it's like your catching phrase, that your elevator pitch that makes everyone want to listen to you. So your chapter 1 is very important. Your choice of words, the reason why you chose the topic. Some people just grapple over it. Some people just say anything. It is in 1,000 words, you are selling your project to your examiner. If you fail to effectively sell your project well to the examiner, then you would not be able to pass. It's just 1,000 words, but it is it's like a foundation. If you set the foundation right, the examiner will be very impressed with you and then will be vested in what you are saying. So your chapter 1, very important. Let us know your clear objective. What is your, how am I going to do this project? I want to be able to identify A, B, C, D, clear. Your research questions clear. Then it's easier. So your chapter 2 is also a very important part, but that's the place where referencing is key. I always tell people, some people fail their RAP project because of copying the work of others and not adequately referencing the source. This is very important. If anything is not your word, if it's not me saying it's okay, the things that I'm saying to you on the call today, some of them are my words. Some of them I've quoted the OBU information part. But most of the things that I'm telling to you, they are my words. When you're writing and something is not you, so it's just like, and there are some things that will never be your own original words, except you're developing them. You were to define something on motivation, for example, you're not the first person that spoke about motivation. Whatever it is that you know today about motivation, you would have maybe read it from somewhere or something. Or if you know that what you're saying is genuinely yours, no issues. But when you know that you're referring to someone else, even though you're paraphrasing, rephrasing, summarizing, the source must be referenced accordingly. So your chapter 2 is about your information and your accounting and business techniques. I like OBU so well because what they've also done is to make it easy for you. Each of the topics, they will tell you how they believe you should gather the data and the models they think that would be relevant for this. So it's a book of instruction. If you follow the instruction, it is easier for you to then, pass and be successful. So just follow the instruction. Then your chapter 3, which is the main focus, which is talking about the results, the conclusions, and the recommendation that you're making to the body of knowledge. Every project is supposed to add value to the body of knowledge, right? When you're done with your research project, the company you analyzed should be able to get that research project, take your conclusions, implement them without any issues. So if your solutions are not implementable or your recommendations are not clear, then it becomes a bit hard for anyone that wants to examine you. Again, for some of you that may want to use some companies' internal information, what you would then be doing is that you will need to ask that company for what will I call it, a permission to use their company and their internal information. And you're also giving them the assurance that what you're doing is strictly for academic purpose. Again, OBU will confirm, your mentor will confirm and all if you're using internal information. So you should finish that project and they should say, okay, this is the solution. This is the problem statement, which you will have put in your chapter 1. And this is the solution that, let me call someone's name on the call, that's Fikayomi as recommended, and we want to implement. So again, I always tell people from your chapter 1, you're already thinking about your chapter 3, and in your chapter 3, you're ensuring that you're answering the questions you raised in chapter 1. That's how you can link it together. Unlike the project in your undergrad, that was, I think a lot of us did 4 chapters. This is just 3 chapters. But each of the chapters, they carry weight, and you have to ensure that you're working in accordance to the requirements. Skills and learning statements, another part. They are just 2 questions. They want to test your understanding and your self-reflection. So it's a self-reflection thing on how you have communicated effectively, on how you're able to deliver to your mentor. Those are the things that they are just looking at in your skills and learning statement. So you write from your heart, and if you're also referring to the work of another person, you would name it. So the topic areas that we actually have 15. Apologies, we should have updated this. It's been narrowed down to 15 now. The topic areas that you need to do, you can focus on primary data. If your topics are primary data inclined, again, when we get to the questions, you will already be able to see whether you're doing primary data or not. Then it means that you are doing interviews, you're doing questionnaires and all. You must get permission from the company and they must be willing to have you use their information. Secondary data, there are topics that you need secondary data for. For these topics, their data is already available. So someone has spoken about public companies. Their public companies, their financials are readily available. So if you're using financial industry, if you're using FMCGs, once they are public companies, their financial information is readily available. You will start hearing things like publicly available information. Publicly available information also means that they are secondary data, but the information is also readily available in the public. So the annual accounts, the press conference for different organizations, you can find online. OPU project exposes you to a lot of things. Your eyes are open. People finish and they discover that, oh my God, I could readily be doing business analysis. Why am I not doing that as a profession? So it's something that when you are done, even you'll be happy because you will have learned a lot. Then don't forget that for primary data, they are internally available information. So say, for example, you were to analyze the effectiveness of internal audits in a particular organization. If you are looking at that, there's no how you can determine the effectiveness of internal audits by looking at external data, right? Or you're analyzing motivation in an organization. There's no how you can determine whether an organization is effectively motivated by looking at external data alone. You need to go inside to get insider-related information. So there are topics you can choose from. Like I said, all the topics, they will already tell you what to look out for. Like this topic 1 is speaking to budgetary controls, and they've told you that if you want to do this topic, don't bother, just focus on primary data and internally generated information. The challenge we have is sometimes some mentees, they already know. They saw other topics. They said, no, it is budgetary control that I want to do. Yet, they don't have access to any internal information. They are not even working to ensure that they're able to get the information. Then they now get to the middle, they'll say they are stranded. They'll now say, mentor, what do I do? Your mentor is not a magician. If it's an internally generated information, you would look for it for yourself. Because for all you care, the mentor does not even know the company you have chosen. So that's why it's your responsibility to choose your topic. It's your responsibility to choose the company you want to work with so that it's easier for you to gather information. So imagine if for an internally generated information, it's your mentor that told you to choose that company. When you get to the middle of the game, you see now, it's because he told me to go and do that topic. That's why, so you need to ensure that, you are following the requirements and you also have available information that will help you. So, so you would see each of the topics. Each of the topics already tells you what you need to do. Primary data, internally generated information. So see topic 3. It talks about an assessment of the potential impact of an aspect of impending litigation, legislation on the operation of financial position of an organization. If you want to do this topic, they said that primarily available information could be used. Again, for a lot of institutions, they have this regulatory requirements that if there is a sanction, if there is anything that you're supposed to publish it, you're supposed to let everybody know that I have this challenge. So because of that, you're able to tell some of this information online. But then you might just need to know someone that works internal to be able to also get updates as to what they've done. That's why that says could be used. So it means that when you see anything that has code, it means, yes, I can get some things online, but it's very advisable to get some things internally. So see topic 4, for example, you are appraising and evaluating the business and financial performance of an organization that has performed exceptionally poorly over a 3-year period with a critical analysis of the reason for the difficulty. They have told you here, publicly available information is okay, and you need to compare it to another company. So you see how salient these requirements are. If you finish this project and you just use one company and you don't compare it to another company, you will not pass it. Because what they expect is that you should read the requirements and follow through. The challenge that people always have with topic 4 is because topic 4 requires that the company has performed exceptionally poor over 3 years. So some people are able to tell the company performed exceptionally poor in 1 year, went back, then performed exceptionally poor again. So a lot of companies too, they don't want to stay in perpetual performing poorly because they know that they have investors' funds. So if you want to do this topic, you have to go and do a granular research as to if you cannot find a company that has been consistent in poor performance, just leave the topic and do something else so that you're not stranded when doing your analysis. Topic 5 is the reverse of the other one, is the one that has performed exceptionally good. Some of the challenges that I've seen mentees have on this topic is the fact that they get to the middle and then they discover that the company they thought was performing exceptionally well, over the year, it was good 1 year, came down and then went up. They then have challenges. You're supposed to sit down, know exactly whether this company has done consistently well. And again, you know that cannot be done just by flipping overnight. So there are a lot. See the motivation I was talking about. I know some people are extremely passionate about people. Some people are extremely passionate about people, motivation and all. So that way, they might want to take topic 6 as their preferred topic. So if topic 6 is your preferred topic, you need access to internally generated information. Primary data is very important. All the way, the topics are also available for you. Like I said, it's been streamlined to 15 topics. Another thing I would like to note and tell everyone on the call is that your analysis is not just a financial analysis. So some people just review the financials. They say gross income went up, income went down and all, and they just write in their project like that. A lot of times, for people that don't pass, the examiner will say that this was a mere financial analysis. The examiner does not expect you to just say it's financial analysis. They expect you to say that it's more than financial analysis. You're doing business analysis, which is the reason why you need to look for press commentary about that company, what their chairman has said, what their chairman said, what their MD is saying, what the CFO of the organization is saying, what the principal holders of position in that organization is saying is very, very important in your analysis. So moving on, referencing. Referencing is a very pivotal part. Again, I'm not sure we can really go into the nitty-gritty of referencing today. But then referencing is the reason why a lot of people do not pass their project. Some people, even the examiners, will say that the work was good. However, it was poorly referenced. Again, any of the things that OBU has noted as the things that are important to them, no matter how small, if you don't do it, then it becomes a problem for them. And the research project is failed because of non-complying with the requirements. So your information pack is a single document that is the most important to you. So referencing original text, people just want to copy from somewhere. And then, there are sites that you can't even copy from because it's an academic work. There are places that is only recommended articles, let me say business related website content and all. You can't just go and copy Aditso & Co Limited said something about something in finance, really. What do we really know about finance that will be opining? So it has to be, because your project is going to be marked in UK. It's going to be appraised in the UK. So you don't want to use Nigerian nuances to limit yourself, even though you can use Nigerian companies. In fact, a lot of mentees that I've known that have done exceptionally well, they used Nigerian companies, right? All they did is they added extra. They ensured that their referencing was purely almost just academical. There are journal article that you can subscribe to, academic journals in the field, so that these are things that have passed through readings and have been certified themselves. And when you're also referencing using academic journals, you're also ensuring that you are referencing the source. I always like to tell people that referencing is easier because what it takes for you is to have a Word document ready. When you have the Word document ready, you already know that referencing has to be in line with the Harvard Business referencing. Let me stop sharing and reshare and show you something real quick. Okay, so I am on a plain Word document. Please confirm if you can see a plain Word document on my screen. Plain Word document.
Yes, you can say.
All right, thank you. Okay, so and I'm sure you're familiar with all the fields that you have here on your documents, from file to home to insert. Maybe the one that you don't use is the tab called referencing. So you see that I have file, I have home, I have insert, I have draw, I have design, I have layout, then I have referencing. For you that is writing the project, this tab called reference is the single most important tab for you, because you use the tab not only for referencing, that's where your table of contents can be. You know, when people write, they just go and manually type 2.1. If you follow the order of table of content, you won't have to manually, all your headers will follow the right line. As you're doing an update, you just refresh and your content update. That's not what I came to show you here. I came to show you referencing. So it is very important that you reference it right. Let's assume that I wrote a book called The Power of Influence. The Power of an Academic Excellence. I think I should make it a bit bolder. Let's assume that this is an article that I saw online, and I want to ensure that I reference accordingly. You know, I said that. So there's something called style here, style, and we reference using Harvard England under in the OBU. So you must ensure that you change that style to this Harvard England first, because there are different referencing styles. So I'll go to insert citation, and I want to add a new source. As in, it's so easy for you, just follow. It will tell you, is that thing that I've written, is it a book? Is it a section of a book? Is it a journal? Is it an article in a periodic? Is it conference proceeding? Is it a report? Is it from website? Is it a document from website? Anything that you're doing. Is it a film? Is it something you don't know? But you can't say you don't know. You can't be miscellaneous for an academic writing. So I'll say it's a journal. It will ask me, who is the person that wrote this journal? So I'll say it's Adetutu Oludare, right? I can say Adetutu Oludare is a corporate author. If I'm not a corporate author, you leave me where I am. Then you have, so these are things that you need to look at when you are reviewing. What's the title? I said it's The Power of Influence on Academic Excellence, right? What's the journal name? Say it is Finance. Sorry, it is Finance and Performance. Finance and Performance. What year was this journal done? 2024. What page? You would look at that journal and say what page it is. It's page 5. What volume? It is the 3rd volume. What issue? It is issue 12. Again, if you don't know, you see, as I'm clicking on those things, it will be telling me what I can you see? It's showing me example under here. Now, what I can do is to say 50 to 56. Again, maybe this page is longer. Here, it will tell you what exactly you need to do. Here, it will tell you what exactly you need to do. As you are clicking it, you are able to tell what you need to do. Once you are done, you click OK. So you see that immediately what this thing did for me is that it incited the citation for me. So say, for example, I want to edit this citation. I can say you should go back to that source. Right? So maybe I discovered that Oludare is not the surname, it's Adetutu, or there's something I want to change in this citation. I'll tell it to edit it. So let's assume that at this point now I'm done, right? I'm done and I want to insert all my reference. Some people will now go and start typing their references one by one because they didn't follow this style. What I need to do is just click this biography. And under my bibliography, it will tell me everything. I'm sure you can see my screen, right? It will tell me everything that I've written about this person. Can you see I didn't need to start to type A-O, Kiniko myself. It would do the referencing the way it should be, and it will put it under my bibliography. Again, you can decide that, oh, you don't want bibliography, you want to call it reference. It will do the same thing they mean the same thing. It will show me exactly the things that I've done, the citation that I've raised. It will put it here for me. So let's assume that I want to do another one, right? I'm still working. I'm not done with my work. So I move out of here and come here. I want to insert another one. So can you see you're already telling me that I've added power of influence? I say you should add a new source. Let's assume that this time around it's a book. Or no, so that I can show you website. Let's assume there is a website because you can validly have something from a website. The author is James Roberts. Sorry. And it's this simple. I want James Roberts to be a corporate author. What's the name? Corporate Actions. Let's assume it's Corporate Actions. That is the name of the web page. What's the year? 2024 again. He would ask you for the year you assessed it. The reason why they always ask for this is because your examiner can go back to this source to check whether this thing is actually what is on that source. So, I'm writing my project in 2025. I accessed it in February. Very important. Can you see it's asking you for the day you assessed it? So imagine if you did not follow this methodology and you just went in your reference and wrote something, blah, blah, comma, comma, comma. The examiner will not be able to trace that source. Therefore, he will say that you didn't do well at it. The day assessed, it is the 15th day. Can you see it's also asking you for the URL? So what you would do is to go to the URL itself where you have, I think I have something copied, and you put the exact URL of that thing that you got from the website. And then you say, okay. So can you see it's helped you put the reference automatically when the examiner is looking at your reference, and the examiner cannot see that, is able to maybe edit or open like this, then there will be an issue, right? What you will just do here is to come and update your reference. You will see that it has arranged it alphabetically. You can see James Roberts has now taken over from Oludarehe, and you see everything. It's telling you James Roberts is online, is available here. It was assessed on this day. That way, the examiner can copy this and go and open that thing. And if possible, if they want to reference and ask whether you indeed assessed it, they can ask questions. So very, very important that you follow, and you can see that this is seamless. As I'm doing it, I can update my bibliography and I'm fine. And then so that we are following one of the recommended fonts in your OBU project is Century Gothic. So I've gone to Century Gothic. And you can see how seamless it is for me to do my bibliography or my referencing without stress. In fact, I can decide that, okay, I don't want to put this yet. I want to be done. Once I'm done, I come to referencing. Like I said, you can do the reference instead of bibliography. And it will show you everything. It will keep, if I type something that is A now, this will already bring it up on all the way like that, and it will make your work seamless. So that's the expectation for OBU. Remember, you're doing Harvard referencing, and then you're referencing the source. And once you follow the Harvard referencing, it would arrange it in the way that is appropriate for you. So I thought it was important to share that. So let's move on now. Don't worry, we'll take your questions. Let me just move on and finish so that we'll have room for questions. Just keep noting. It's okay. You can continue raising your hands. So what slide were we? Okay, we were here. So so that's what referencing is about. The work of another person. Don't copy it. Even if you're paraphrasing, you need to still reference the source. It's very, very important that you maintain the originality of your project, work with your mentor. OBU says no to cheating. If you are found or it's deemed like you have cheated, they refer you to an academic committee, and which is not good for you, because a lot of a lot of people that are referred to academic committee is not always nice for them. Okay, so I think there's a bit of mix, but we'll continue. So how do you choose your topic? You choose your topic by availability of data to you, news and media, availability of a comparator, checking online whether it's a public or a privately held company. Can I find their data on London Stock Exchange, New York Stock Exchange, Nigeria Stock Exchange? Your personal interest is very important. The industry and the sector is also very important. I always encourage mentees, only put your project on ITKate. ITKate is a platform where you are permitted to check the degree at which your project looks similar to another person. I remember, I think 3 diets ago, we had the session, and even during our engagement on our WhatsApp platform, I kept saying, please use ITKate for your project. Turnitin is where they will put your project on. Don't put your project on Turnitin, because it will then be seen as you have already put the project on Turnitin. That's what I believe. Oxford Brookes recommend is ITKate. We kept the communication like that, and then we had one mentee. It was when they referred him to academic committee that he then came and said, Tutu, sorry, I had a friend that was doing his MSc somewhere in University in London, and he had a free Turnitin module, and I put my project on it. I'm like, what? We already said that you shouldn't put your project on Turnitin. Once you have put your project on Turnitin, that project is already registered. So if they are putting it from the Oxford Brookes perspective, it would then look like you're cheating. He couldn't even go around it. I'm like, so why? Why did you do what he did if you didn't have an explanation? So please, let's stick to instruction. It's very important. I already spoke about what your project entails, reason for choosing the topic, why you chose the research work and all is in chapter 1. Chapter 2, I already also explained it. That one, you're just describing how you intend to collect your data. Then your chapter 3 speaks to your description and the things you want us to know here. Graphical presentation, tables, explanation cannot even be taken for granted. You are going into the granular nitty-gritty of describing what you have done in a pictorial manner and explaining the pictures and the charts that we can see. We already talked about the maximum. One is 1,000, the other is 2,500, the other is 3,500. Everything that you're doing, you must not pass 7,500 plus or minus. So you need to, what OBU does is once you have passed plus or minus 10%, every other thing you've written after then will not be marked. I'm sure that you were a bit curious about the skills and learning statement, what it entails. Skills and learning statement, I said there are just 2 questions that they are asking. First is, what new skill did you acquire and how did you develop them? How will someone feel it? What new skills did you have? It's your skill. It's something you would. So I always encourage people from the day one that you start to meet your mentor, start to document the things that you have learned. Right? And it's okay. Some of us are already professionals in our field. Just maybe we not learn anything, but just try and ensure that you're documenting what you're learning, because you have to document it anyway. And it has to be related to the project itself. So the new skills you've acquired, the ability to use PowerPoint better, the ability to do presentation, the ability to talk with others, all those things, you write them. Challenges. Some people have view challenges in their project. Sometimes it's timing, is work clashing with something, or it's the fact that they started with a topic, they got to the middle and discovered that, hey, I cannot do this thing. Your challenge is your challenge. Document it, right? And the second set of questions is speaking to how do you think that this experience will help you in the future? Again, I think that this should not be a stress for anyone. How will it make you more employable? Think about the things that will happen all through, that has happened all through, that would help you more employable. How would it influence your long-term plan? Again, these are questions that are very personal, and I do not expect anyone again to have issues with it. So this is the recommended timeline for completing your RAP. Before you have your first meeting with your mentor, you're supposed to do background reading, do self-analysis. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? what do you think you should write from the 15 topics available? Who are the just start thinking about it yourself, because before you meet with your mentor, you should have read through the OBU pack. Start to think about what exactly you want to do. Then, before you also meet with your mentor, you should have finalized what your title and what your project timetable is. This is what I want to do. I'm doing topic 6 because of ABCD, right? This is how long I think it will take me. Oh, mentor, every 2 weeks we'll have a catch-up. I'll give you my project so that you can tell me whether I'm in line. And then you have the first meeting with you. This is an extract from the OBU pack itself. It is not, I didn't develop it myself. Just so that you know how OBU expects the relationship to be. So you need to show us the evidence of your skills and learning statement from day one, from that first meeting. If you don't start to document your learnings, you will have issues. Then after your first meeting, you go ahead and finalize your project objective, your research question, you develop your overall research approach, then you plan on how you intend to gather information. So you finalize your research analysis, the business techniques you want to do, how you want to gather information, everything. You can see all the things in white are the things you will do before you even cite your mentor the second time. So once you are done, you have done your conclusion, you've done your analysis, you go back again and meet your mentor. So the mentors meeting are the things in black. At that point, you can see the arrow telling you that you must gather evidence. In fact, if it's to ask the question that, sir or ma or sis or whatever you want to call the person, what do you think that I should be learning at this phase? Those are the things that will really help you. Then your second project mentor meeting happens, at that level. Then you're sending your draft project at that level. During your third meeting, you're almost done. See what OBU is recommending, that you're supposed to give the presentation to your mentor during your third meeting. For us, we do your third meeting and we still have another session where you and all mentors and all mentees will then have a session. So we actually go above and beyond this. We know that there are people that attempted their RAP for the first time and didn't pass. The submission rules, you only have 3 times to submit. After your first attempt, you have 2 more. After the second and after the third, if you are not successful, you will no longer be able to get a degree in applied accounting. So you want to also be very careful. Your first attempt, if you passed your RR, I said it's possible to pass your research report and fail SLS. If you passed your RR and failed SLS, you will not be able to resubmit the RR. You can only resubmit the SLS. If you fail once, you are restricted to a grade of C. Then you now take that C back to that table and see where your class of degree will still be. So once you have failed, you can't get an A or a B again. So if you fail your RR, but you pass your SLS, you will need to submit the RR and not the SLS again. So whatever you failed, you would resubmit what you didn't pass. So these are the timelines that I already mentioned when you were talking, and it's very important that you pay attention to them. If you do not complete your professional skills module paper or that module before March 21st, 2025, then you are not eligible for this submission. So the earliest submission of your RAP, like I said earlier, is 1st of May. The latest submission is 6th of May, 1 p.m. UK time. Again, there are people who say, oh my God, I thought it was 1 p.m. and it's 1 in Nigeria. Whatever it is, just know whether UK is ahead or behind and determine when your project is supposed to be. Don't waste your time. Put all your energy and then you miss your submission deadline just by 1 minute or by 1 hour. Because once the portal has closed, there's nothing you can do. Your results is going to be released on the 17th September 2025. Please take note, and the fee you pay is £520. Again, you have the opportunity that even if you don't have the money, as at the day you're supposed to submit, OBU allows you to submit, but your results will not be released until you pay. So at least it gives you some additional time. So even if you don't have the funds now, I know that some people will say, I really want to do this thing, but I don't have money. Please, you can still do it and continue to gather money as appropriate. I always encourage people, you should familiarize yourself with the submission portal. Once your submission is getting close, know the things you're supposed to upload and in what formats. I had a mentee, we had a mentee in the school one time that did exceptionally well in this project. In fact, even the Oxford Brookes examiner noted it that this was an excellent project, but he failed. And that's the failure in OBU project that has pained me the most since almost 10 years that I've been doing this. And I was wondering what happened. We read through. Do you know what the person didn't do? It was the appendix, which is an Excel that is supposed to be used to record how calculations that are in the RAP was determined. So what he did when he wanted to submit, he just value pasted everything. He copied and value pasted it, didn't put any formula. He just sent it that way. He just put, so the examiner was looking out for, so this is your gross profit. How did you calculate it? This is your net interest income. How did you calculate it? He didn't put one formula on that Excel. And that was the only reason why he failed. In fact, the examiner said, this is a very good research report. Said, however, the mentee did not pay attention to instructions. And the instruction was, do not value paste, as in leave your Excel, let's see the workings, because someone is going to be marking it. We don't just want to be seeing 50% inside your app and cannot trace it to 50% on the Excel document. And that person actually failed. He had to write the research project again. It was now restricted to a C. I would have imagined that that project would have been an A project, but for the lack of attention to details. So please, let's pay attention to details and not waste our time. So we already spoke about referencing, and I already showed you the sample of referencing, so I'll skip that. RAP assessment criteria is a very important part that I always love to show in an open day like this. First is everything you need to make an A in this project, you know yourself. So when you have looked at the table, you've determined where your class of degree is going to fall, you now want to know what will make me have A. Is the understanding of the accounting and business models. So your analysis, like I said, is not just financial, it is business model inclined. So examiner wants to, you can't just in 2 weeks, just go and look for something. Anything you do in a hurry is obvious in what you've written. If you've taken time to read and understand the company and understand your model, it will also be obvious in what you're writing. So evidence of wired reading, if you demonstrate understanding of your business model, if you're able to do full discussion of the limitations and of the theories you've chosen, everything gives you an A. If you demonstrated it, yeah, well, but maybe not in details, you have B. If you demonstrated it in very limited choices, some evidence, it's just a little, you have a C. If the coverage was poor, you have an F. So I know F is not your portion. So that's understanding. So they mark you on the understanding of the model you are using. They also mark you on the application of the model. So you have written the models in chapter 2 and what they mean, the advantages, the disadvantages, you reference the source of the work of another person. What about how you have applied it, which will be your chapter 3? Your theories, your questionnaire, your interview, your ability to compare with the comparator, your calculations, and that's where that Excel comes in. So for example, the examiner will be looking out for how you calculated most of your ratio. Is your net profit margin correct? Is your gearing ratio correct? Are you saying the company is geared when it's not? In all those things is what the examiner is interested in. And they will be looking at the Excel vis-a-vis what you've done. So, and then they check typos. So are you the type that will just type and then just write and not even check? Or did you copy your work and you went to put it on a free checker? Please, emphasizing it again. Free checkers also feed into an ultimate academic record, Turnitin, and your project will then be tagged for plagiarism. Please, when writing this project, no free checker, except is maybe just a spell checker. Just be careful, read through, write well, write professionally, don't make mistakes. Once you have agreed something with your mentor, don't go behind to do something else. Those people, that guy that went to value paste the shit, The last one that is mentor reviewed had formulas. Why did he value paste it? Only him knew. So please ensure that what we have agreed is what you're implementing. Again, technical presentation of your work. Like I said, if you follow a proper table of content, proper referencing, it just makes your work logical. I've seen work before that, even me that I'm here in Nigeria, I'm like, I got tired. I was not even interested in reviewing. Everything just was upside down. Some fonts are not the same as the other. The header is just not flowing. I'm like, can't you write and then make your work neat and sequential? So once we give feedback like that, it's not because we want to waste your time. Someone will say, we've just been on chapter one since, and my mentor is not even moving. I'm like, if the guy is not comfortable with what you've written in your chapter 1, he won't move. So again, we get to a time that it then becomes an emotional blackmail. Okay, don't worry, go ahead if that's what you want. But you don't want that. You want your technical presentation. You want it to be logical and nice, full and clear analysis. So these things, I always encourage you, read it. See, this is what I'm talking about. Presentation of your project finding. Are you engaging your reader? When the person that is reading it, is the person understanding is it coherent? Does it have good structure? The headers, the sub-headers, your graphs. Some people do graphs and you're wondering, the color self is already pissing you off. The graphs, are they well labeled? Table 2, table 4, appendix 1, appendix 2. Very important. Very, very important. Very, very important. So again, SLS, those two questions are for your reflection. What the examiner is now looking forward to is spellings, punctuations, accuracy, your style of writing, and then when you have referred to the work of another person, you reference it accordingly and very appropriately. So then information technology, we want to know so I like to show this. Can you see? It says submission of an Excel spread file, which incorporates and clearly demonstrates the use of varied formula created by the students. Very, very important. Again, there was one of our mentees one year that was also flagged. And the reason is because in his project, according to him, he said that he got to a time while he was writing his project, he decided to use his wife's laptop and not use his, because his laptop crashed or something. So he moved from his laptop to his wife's laptop. So in the process of moving, the source and the author of that file changed from him to his wife. So in some places they will see his name, and then the technological tools that these people use to identify and ascertain whether you are the one that wrote this thing, it's enormous. So when you are doing your Word document, your first Word document that you are creating, if that laptop is not your own, change the name to yours. And then he kept going back and forth, trying to explain, trying to show marriage certificate. Again, those things are not necessary when you can avoid it. Keep your formula, ensure that that document is created by you, make it clear, make it readable, make it relevant. Very important, these things that I'm talking about. At OBU in Ivy League, we always have timelines. This is the tentative one. If it's going to change, anyone that is going to be with us in the school will communicate the changes to them. Today, February the 15th of February 2025, not 4. Sorry, let me just change it. We are having this OBU class today, and by 22nd, we're going to be doing our first mentee allocation. Again, the reason why we wait is we know that after today's call, a lot of people would go back and make different calls. Some people will decide whether they want to be a part of it. Some people will decide whether they don't want to be a part of it and stuff like that. So we are confident that you would, use about 1 week to think about it. Because if you don't signify interest, we can't allocate. So we'll allocate mentors. We'll have our first meeting February 29th or March 1st. I don't know. I think it's not a leap year, so that will be March 1st. So we'll have our first meeting March 1st. And once we're done having our first meeting, We will move into our second meeting on the 22nd, then move into our third meeting on 19th, and then our SLS on 26th. And then your submission starts May 2025. It's our desire that you're able to submit on the 1st and not wait till the deadline. But if you wait till the deadline is also fine. It's just that we always encourage people to ensure that you don't wait till the deadline so you're not under pressure. Like I said, these dates may change, and if there's going to be any change, we'll communicate it to you. There are a lot of resources that is available for you to do your OBU project. And I'll encourage everyone. OBU has a dedicated YouTube channel. Before you even come back to us to show your interest, go and listen to what Dr. Kate Milan is talking about. Everything you need to know is there on that website. Go through it, read it, and understand it. There are webinars that also come up that are available for use. What we do is, if you signify interest and you're part of our community, we send you regular updates on webinars on what the examiner is looking out for. I always encourage my mentees to go and read examiner's reports. What did the examiner say about what happened? What were the errors and the pitfalls that people had ahead of you that you can leverage on? Once you read it, you find it very useful, and you can make your project very good. Harvard writing style is what I just demonstrated to you. If you want to learn more about it, we have websites where you can learn about it. So I'll pause now and take your questions. So it's time for questions. So you can go ahead and raise your hands now if you have questions. Thank you. Questions. Any questions? Everyone that had questions before, please just raise your hand and I'll call you in the order at which your hand is raised. Okay, I don't know what STEP means. Is that someone's name? STEP? So STEP,
Yes.
you can proceed
Good
to talk.
afternoon.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
good
Yeah.
afternoon.
So
Yeah.
I was going to ask, for someone who has just one paper left to be written in March, can the person register for the MBA and for the OBU mentorship now? Is it possible?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Just ensure you pass your course before the result is going to be released.
Okay. That's okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, thank you. Please, what's your name?
Hello?
What's your name, please?
Stephanie.
Stephanie. Okay, all right. Thank you, Stephanie. Yeah, you can lower your hands now. So, Abolanle Idowu, over to you.
Thank you. I was just going to clarify some things. The first one is, do we need to pass the professional module exam or professional ethics?
Can you come again on that?
Professional ethics, not module exam. Oh. Is your applied skills that are relevant? It's professional ethics.
Okay, so that's the first one. The second one, I'm not sure if you've mentioned it because I joined late. Okay, so the second one is asking about the record. Get this.
The what? Can you say that again? You broke off a bit.
The recordings of this session. Will it be shared?
Admin will make it available to you.
Okay, and the third thing I wanted to say is, if you don't mind, if you could take us back to the referencing, I want you to please demonstrate how the table of contents can be used.
Okay, since that is not the cost of today's class, I'll take other questions. If we have more time, we'll go to it. Does that work for you?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, let's move to the next person. Can we proceed? That is Akim.
Okay, good. Still morning. Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you can hear me
clearly.
Thank you. Very detailed presentation. I've been dragging my foot quite a long time for this session. And your presentation today just highlighted one very key thing I've never considered, in terms of the grading. So I want to know, my first question, I want to know, how do you calculate the average score from the ACCA end, for you to be able to know your class of degree? What courses, as in, is it from the beginning, from F1 to the end, or it's just from ZF7, or which one? And related to that, do they calculate if you have a receipt? Would they calculate the first time you failed and then you retake, you pass? I just want to have full understanding of that. That's one.
Okay.
Secondly, when you say you, I don't know if you can go through the timelines for your IV, the mentorship session. I think you mentioned something like starting on 20th or 21. If you indicate interest, what do I need to do to indicate interest if I'm to proceed? The cost. I know I've chatted you guys about the cost before, but is it by payment that would make me to have indicated interest, or I need to know, and then what to do to be on that WhatsApp group? Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thanks for your question. So, very good questions that you've asked. You have six exams in your applied skills phase. Those exams are corporate and business law, performance management, taxation, financial reporting, audit and assurance, and FM. Those 6 exams, the average of them plus what you have gotten in your research project is what determines your class of degree. And if you have gotten exemption from any of them, it would then be the remaining divided by the count. So if you have the 6, it will be the 6. If you got exemption, it will be the remaining less your exemption. I mean, the 6 less your exemptions. That's what will determine your class of degree. So whatever your marks are across those period, across the papers, divided by 6, that's your mark. If it is 4 for you, divided by 4. If it is 3 for you, divided by 3, as the case may be. Some people, when we had more time, what they used to do then is to forfeit their exemptions just to ensure that the marks are, because, divided by 3 may make the mark a bit smaller. But then I don't think you have that leeway again. Just pick your papers in the applied skills exam. I've mentioned the 6 exams, and then the average of them determines your class of degree plus your RAP. So for us, you said I should go to the timeline for ACCA as per our own school. Like I said, these timelines are not fixed, they're not sacrosanct. But this is what we're working with tentatively. We'll firm it up. If there's a need to change any of the dates, we'll also communicate to our platform. Then you asked about how you get eligible. You become eligible when you make payments for your Oxford Brookes offering examination. We call it mentee fees. When you pay your mentor's fees to the Ivy League faculty, they will notify us. You'll be sent a link to fill. We'll ask you for a bit of details. We'll create a WhatsApp group, get you added on, and then you're good to go. I'm sure that answers you, right?
Yeah, that answers me. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. So over to Bukola. Bukola, please proceed. Bukola, we can't hear you if you're speaking. Okay, if Bukola is not able to speak, MJ or MEJ?
Good morning. Thank you for the session. Sorry, I joined late, so probably maybe you would have mentioned my question. So it's with regards to those eligible for the Oxford Brookes program. If you've had, let's say, exemption, and let's say you came from ICANN and you've been exempted the skills part, can you still do this program, or there's something that you need to do? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Great question. If you've been exempted from all the papers, if you come from ICANN, where do you start from? Could you help me with the paper?
You start from the professional level.
Okay, so if you start from the professional level, then that means you might need to take out your exemption and do at least 3 from the applied skills level. Otherwise, you will not be eligible for this because it then means that you didn't write the paper that will qualify you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Bukola, if you can speak now, let's hear you. Otherwise, let's move to Alimi. Alimi.
Hello, good morning. Thanks for
Morning.
the session. So my question
You're
is that
welcome.
I was supposed to submit the project November last year, but I couldn't submit the project due to some lack of information and the likes. So although I sent a mail to Ivy League about my deferral, and I was told that I think coming back I'm going to pay half of the fee for mentorship. So I just want to know if I'm still going to get the same mentor that I started with last year, or I'm going to be allocated to another mentor. And then I also just completed my ethics and professional module in December. And then my status progress on my dashboard on my ACCA portal has not changed. So I'm a bit skeptical about whether that has been affected and the like. So that's my question basically.
All right, thanks Zainab for your question. Let me start from your last question. So yes, just write ACCA an email asking that, oh, you did your ethics model, but you can see that it has not been affected, that they should please help you clarify why. And they will get back to you as to the reason why you can't see the effect yet. That's not supposed to be an issue at all. And as for the you started last period, sorry about your experience. I don't know what may have happened. But yes, since you've notified us that you couldn't submit at that time and you have written us for deferral, you'll be paying half of the fees. And then yes, you will be assigned to your old mentor, except there's a specific reason why you would not like to continue with the person. But yes, and then of course you still have access to all of us. And please help ensure that this time around, whatever it is that didn't give you time then, just try and prioritize a little, and let's see how things can get better. If you attended it the last time, that means you're already on a WhatsApp group, right?
Yes, I'm on a WhatsApp group.
Okay.
So I also want to know which email address am I sending, which ACCA email? Is it student@ACCA or which of the address?
Let me go to it now. Let me go to it so everybody will see it on the screen. acca@brooks.ac.uk. And they will respond to you. Or you can use this as well. Any of the emails, they always respond. Everybody that I've asked to send emails to them in one day, you get a feedback. And it's always good to ensure that. So they also respond to this student@accaglobal.com. So anyone that you would like to send an email to, they will be more than willing to answer you. You can let me know how it goes, and then we can have a chat afterwards. Does that answer you, Zainab?
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. I'll send a chat if I have any issues. Thank you.
All right. Ekene, please proceed.
Hi, Tutu. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for the
There's a bit of noise in your background. If you can speak up a bit.
Can you hear me?
Better.
Okay. So I was saying thank you for the session. So I just want to clarify for someone that wants to say do the next cohort that's not this particular session, the next one that will be submitted around November, would there be another open day session, or would the information on it should also be given now?
Okay, as much as there was noise in your background, but I think I got what you meant. Yes, every time there is a submission round, we do an OBU induction session. So for the November submission round, the the papers will be due for submission sometimes in March. So we will do another submission round. So we have 2 more before the school closes. So we'll have one sometimes in we usually would do it in January or February. Then we will have the last one in May.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. Mando, can I pronounce this? Mandebo. Please, apologies if I've not pronounced your name well.
Yes, okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, please pronounce your name
Hello?
for me. Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, it's pronounced Mandubu.
Ah, okay. All
Thank
right.
you. But it's fine.
Thank you.
I want to check with you. There are 2 things you mentioned. The first one, I think I missed the response to it because of network. When a lady asked a question concerning somebody who's sitting for March exam and was thinking of submitting in May. So is it possible to? I have the same question applies to me. I have one exam left for March, and I'm hoping to submit in May. Can I go ahead and
Please.
follow that?
Please go ahead. Ensure you go ahead so that you take advantage of this submission. I've said that you should please go ahead and ensure you pass, such that when your results is about to be released, there's something they can use. So go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. The second, I wanted to check again. There's something you mentioned because one of the challenges I had, I've done my assessment based on whatever score I had, and I found out that I might not be able to get the 2-1 for OBU. So what I try to do, in fact, that's what I'm doing, but I'm not saying it officially, but it's one of the reasons why I have to drop one exemption that I already received, so that I should be able to, boost my score to the point where I know even if I score a C in the RAP, I should be able to still get the 2-1. But you mentioned something that ACCA or something that they don't allow that anymore for you to drop exemption.
No.
I want to clarify.
No, I don't mean that they don't allow that anymore. What I'm saying is that the window, since it's closing, so say, for example, you have not sought your ability to drop it now, and the thing is closing in March, it might be difficult for you to. But if you're doing it immediately, you can tell them that you don't want that exception, and you will take the paper. Or everything everyone is doing, you only have 2 submissions left, technically. One now, another in November, and then the one in May. Because if you want to do anything in May, you won't be able to submit it until the end of a 3-month journey. So technically, we shouldn't plan with May. So what we're looking at now is 2 submissions. So whatever you have that can happen between now and November submission is what you should work around. So if you can, take off the exemption and do the exam very fast, it's fine. So there are 2 things that you need to note. If there are just 2 papers left for you to write, and you are willing to write them and do the project together, you are fine. If you don't have sufficient fund and you want to still submit, you can go ahead, submit, only that your results will not be released until you pay. Right? So you just want to also do everything and ensure that you enter the window before it closes.
That's absolutely fine. Thank you. Then lastly, for most of the time, my network was not so fantastic. Is it possible to get a recording of this live session so that I can watch it later to pick up? How do I get it, please?
The Ivy League admin would circulate it to you guys.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Mando. Thank you. So Fikayomi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, sorry, a quick question. The admin you are referring to, I don't know how to contact the person. Like after this meeting, who do I message to like give me the details about how to go further?
Okay, so they were the ones that sent out this OBU induction session to everyone. It's like
Okay.
reaching out to the Ivy League school itself. Yeah,
Okay.
anyone in the school would assist you to get additional details. Yeah.
Okay. So can I have the idea of how much it is from here, or I have to message like the person will tell me?
No, it's fine. Mentorship fee is 90,000 naira.
Okay.
90,000. Yes.
Okay, another quick one. I think what this person that just said now, I didn't realize that after the last person that asked question, you realize that after you've applied for an exemption, you can unapply for the exemption. Is it possible?
You can opt to it's just that you've paid. Again, is something it's something you need to be very careful about. But you can write them that you no longer want that exemption because you want to do it. You want to do OBU. They will take the exemption off, but I'm not sure they will refund you.
Okay, fair enough.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. So, Bukola, if you can talk now, it'd be nice to hear you.
Yeah, good morning.
Okay, good morning.
Yeah, thank you for your time and thank you for what you have been saying all the while.
Thank you.
I want to find out. I just got my exemption. I just finished ICANN and I just got my exemption. So I'll be writing 3 papers. Can I still meet up with the deadline of this OBU? Like I intend writing 2 by June. Then before December, I want to round up everything. What's your advice?
Okay, so these papers you want to write, I believe they are the professional papers, right?
No, skill.
Okay, so
for OBU, applied
okay,
skill.
so
Yes, just
it's still applied skills. Okay, so are you able to do 3 papers together and also still do your OBU without stress, depending on what you do now?
I don't intend writing the 3 papers together. I want to write 2, 1. I want to write 2, then 1 to enable me able to push my marks.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a bit slim, but you can still do it. If you do the 2 now, then when you're doing the 1, you will combine it with your OBU exam. And then you'll be hopeful that you'll do well at it. Because we really have just 2 chances left. This submission and then November.
And then this November?
Yes, and
November 2025?
2025, yes.
So there is no chance, like if I write 2 papers by June, September 1 paper and the OBU exam. So I have to submit by November.
Yes, you have to, because November submission. The reason why I am very careful not to tell you to wait till March is because November is due to be submitted somewhere around March. So, and the school is closing in May.
Okay.
So again, you don't want to be under pressure.
Yes. Yes.
So that's why I said so.
Then the payments, how long can it be delayed? Like I'm talking about the 520 enrollment.
Yeah.
How long can it be delayed?
Okay. Good question you've asked, right? You can delay it till your next exam. I mean, your next submission. So all the delay, it can't pass the next time when your result is going to be out. I showed this slide. Let me go back to that slide. The slide that speaks about when your exams will be released. So on the day your exam is supposed to be released, I mean, your RAP is supposed to, the mark for your RAP is supposed to be released. If you have not paid, your results will be withheld.
Okay.
And it's due for 17th September.
17th September, which year? Next year?
2025.
2025.
Yes. That's when the results of this, you understand?
No, I'm not talking about March now. You know, I told you I'll be writing June and September. So that
okay,
means
so
I
during November.
Yes.
If it's November, it will be on or before May 2026, which is the deadline, which is the time the school is closing.
Okay, please, do you have idea of the score, like 10%, 20%, 50, 75? No.
Score of what?
The score of the RAP or our skill, because like I understand now that we need to be on the 2-1, like.
Okay, I already showed it earlier. I'll go back to the slide, right?
Late though.
Oh, you came in late. Okay, so I'm rushing. Okay, this is the slide. So these are the average costs you can get, and then this is the class of degree that your scores can give you.
Okay.
I'm trying to get to CWD or immigration.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time.
All right, you're welcome, Bukola.
Thank you.
Okay.
Alrighty. Let's move to the next person. Okay. Mandobo has another question.
Yes, please. Thank you. Very fast. I want to check with you two things first. The first one is what is the total cost we are going to pay for this program? I mean, from Ivy League side, are we paying only the 90,000 for mentorship? Because I was reading through the OBU RAP, or the one, I think the one of the book
I'm trying to
sometimes.
get immigration office. Immigration office.
The people going to immigration office should mute their line.
Yeah, okay, so
all right, continue.
I looked through the program. I noticed that. Sorry, am I?
Yes, there's someone that is trying to speak. I'm trying to mute the person. Okay. Just go ahead. Sorry about the distraction. Yeah.
Thank you. So I was checking and I noticed that they said about £100 for something, that a mentor has to be paid £100 or something. I don't know if that cost is also what we are paying to Ivy League or something else. Are there other mentors that you need to pay and all that? Then the other cost that has to do with the ITK or something, do we have to pay for it, or OBU or Ivy League will support us in that as part of the program? You know, I just want to know the total overview cost so that I have a mental picture.
Okay, thank you so much, and your questions are very valid. I would love that you pay me £100. All right, the cost to you in Ivy League is just 90,000 naira. Again, yes, some people, like the average mentorship fee that I've seen online for people outside the country is from £500 upward. But we at Ivy League, we looked at the Nigeria economy and Nigeria conditions, and we thought, okay, since what we're doing is just service to humanity, more like, we decided to cap it at 90K. So which is way less than even the £100 you're talking about. So for us in Ivy League, you don't pay anything extra aside the 90,000 naira that you pay. However, there are other incidental costs to doing OBU, and you have asked a very, very important question. The first is your £520, which is the money that you use to submit. So when you want to submit your paper, you pay OBU. It's just like your admission fee, more like, you know, to be part of the school, to run the projects with them. Again, in Ivy League, we do not provide service. We do not help people to make that payment. We're supposed to make payments, and Sikron does not also have opportunity for that. So you have to get your pounds, put it in your own domiciliary account or another person's own, and make that payment. Or if you have a Naira card, that has sufficient limits that will go is also fine. We don't provide support for that because we don't run borrowed change. So we really can't provide support in that area. And you raised a very pivotal one that everybody should note. You're supposed to run your project on iTicket. iTicket is an independent platform where you run your project just to be sure. Some people have said it before to me and said to please, this project, I wrote it myself. This referencing you've been chatting about, I've also ensured that I did it well. I don't want to run my project through iTicket. I want to take chances. I've paid £550. I've paid 90K for Ivy League. I don't have this $100,000. I mean, $100 for iTicket again. I just want to submit this thing like that. I tell them, okay, I understand you. I understand the things you've gone through. I understand the financial implication. If you know that you have done it so well and you are confident without stress, you can go ahead and submit. Some people have done that and they've been fine. And some people have done that and they've chopped cane. So you want to be very careful. I always recommend that go ahead and run your project on iTicket, because some people get to iTicket and they see that the similarity of their work with another person's work is over 50%. They now sit down and start to look at how and why it is similar and revise it, and they are better. And then they submit their project, there's no issue. But if you don't run it on iTicket, you really will not be able to tell. So I understand that, there are cost implications to it, but whatever is worth doing at all is worth doing well. So I encourage you to ensure you run your project on iTicket. So count the cost, 90K in Naira for Ivy League itself, for the OBU faculty, £520 to OBU itself for like an admission fee and all that. And then on iTicket, you pay $100 and you have the opportunity to use it, I think, 4 times. So those are the costs, no other incidental cost at all.
Okay, sorry, I'm still asking a follow-up question on that. What if we decide to have one iTicket, me and somebody can just partner together?
No, no,
check.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Let it be your project alone.
Okay.
Don't partner on it, please. So you don't miss things together. In fact, it won't even allow you. Knowing iTicket now is only, in fact, your project, if you've changed this significantly, and the difference between the first version and the second version is entirely different, it will tell you it's a different project. It won't allow you.
Okay, that's fine. Then that 90K you mentioned, right? I think there's a place while I was going through the OBU, the guidelines anyway. I noticed there's a place they say you need to include mentor's name, right, on your project submission. So
mentor's
with
code,
that
not name.
Yes, exactly. Mentor's code. Thank you. So with this 90K, it means that mentor is valid. It's not just a guiding thing like, okay, OBU. I'll get a code from Ivy League, from my mentor particularly, and I'm going to include it there.
Yes, you get a code. So in Ivy League, we have registered mentors. So you would get a code from a registered mentor in Ivy League, even if that person is not your direct mentor. So we there's a way we work around it. So yes, we have mentors code that we use. Yeah.
That's fine. And then lastly, out of curiosity, I know that this OBU program is ending with ACCA. This last diet, I mean, the next one that is coming up in March, that's the last one. But do you think that ACCA would partner again with another university to provide BSc, or do you think there are talks? And I know it's not a formal, you are not an ACCA representative, but of course, you can or hints. Do you think it's something that can happen, or there are discussions ongoing? Just something to just give us.
Okay, funny enough, we had one of the ACCA representative on the call. I saw the person in shortly, even though the person is no longer on the call. I've pushed the question to him. But knowing ACCA is a forward-looking organization, and they are always looking for opportunity to ensure that as an ACCA holder, you have, enlarged opportunity. So I'm sure that there are things that are in the work to ensure that we get alliance with another school. SCCA started when Oswald Brooks was still a new university. They were at the starting phase at that time. Again, the school has also grown significantly now. Hence the reason why they just think that, okay, you can't just say with a project you want to get our degree any longer. We understand them. So, but I'm sure that there will be another alliance because the MSc opportunity is still there. So for the people on the call that did ICANN, that spoken earlier, even though you may not be able to do the BSc one, you can do the MSc in professional accounting from University of London. So that's also there. There are modules. I know someone today whose first degree is University of Oxford Brookes University, whose MSc is from that University of London, and that the person works with those two things, and she's doing well. She initially went to the Polytechnic. Today on her CV, she doesn't even show that trace of the Polytechnic any longer. She did ACCA, and that's what she uses. And she's risen really significantly in her career. So it's not an issue. So you can always do the MSc in professional accounting.
Thank you very much, Tutu. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bukola, so I think we'll gradually draw the curtain now after the set of questions. So Bukola, you'll be our last person. Yeah.
Yes, sorry, thank you. Please, I just heard something now. Does it mean that with ICANN, you can just go for the MSc straight as
No.
an MSc directly, or what? I don't understand.
No.
Please, can you just explain?
Is once you are done with ACCA, for the MSc option is you must be qualified.
Okay, I get it.
Yes. Once you are qualified, there is an alliance that ACCA has with University of London.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So you just do a few modules and then they give you MSc in professional accounting. That's what it's called. It's University of London, MSc in professional accounting. So you must be an affiliate or a member to start it. Are we together? Is it clear?
Yeah, it's clear. It's clear. I get it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So I should say thank you to all of you. Thank you to the 30 people that have remained on the call till this time. It was nice talking to you all. Thanks for your questions. We look forward to you being a part of the OBU faculty, or the OBU school itself in Ivy League. Thank you so much for making the day with us today. We appreciate your time. And I want to also encourage you all to please ensure that you take advantage of this opportunity. We are hopeful that we'll have a lot of people join us this time. So we thank you so much. It looks like Sunday has a question. Okay, Sunday, let me take you before I stop the recording.
Actually, this one is a little bit outside what we are discussing, but just for enlightenment. The ITK you talk about, if one pays $100, £100, can one use it for other projects? Okay, $100. Okay. Can one use it for other projects or only for this specific project?
So it allows you for submissions, and the first submission has to be related to what you used it for initially. So if you are doing another project, you would have to buy another platform, another credit